Hello everyone, and welcome back to our daily Advent reflections today, looking at Luke 22. And so, by this point of Luke's Gospel, Jesus has mentioned a few times that there's a coming death, he's going to suffer, that he will die, and that 3 days later he'll be raised from the dead. He's mentioned this a couple times, but it always seems kind of abstract or distant, or it's going to happen at some point, but it doesn't feel immediate. But then we get to Luke 22, and all of a sudden, this does feel immediate. This is something that's going to be happening soon. And so the passage begins with Judas agreeing to betray Jesus and hand him over to the authorities. And that's followed by the Last Supper. Jesus has his final supper with his disciples. And Jesus is aware of what Judas has done, and Jesus knows that his arrest is coming soon. That's at the end of the passage. And so he goes out to pray. This is what he does. He goes out to pray. In the midst of his turmoil, in the midst of his anguish, he goes out to pray. He knows that he has an awful, awful thing coming. And this is what the passage says. Jesus withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, that's the disciples, and he knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." And an angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. Jesus knows what's coming, and he knows it is going to be awful. He knows what he's going to be going through. It's why he's in so much anguish. His sweat's like droplets of blood. And he prays earnestly, "God, would you take this from me? Take this cup from me. Lord, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this. This is going to be awful. I don't want to go through this. But," and this is how obedience to God is perfectly manifested in the person of Jesus, that he prays, "Yet not my will be done, but your will be done." She said, "I don't want to go through this. This is going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. I don't want to do this. But ultimately, Lord, I will follow your will. I will put aside what I want to do what you have called me to." And that's something in Jesus as severe as death on a cross and suffering the punishment for all mankind and carrying the sins of all mankind. And he is then, even then, able to say, "Not my will, but your will be done." And then look at us. We're not carrying the sins of the whole world, and yet we hold on to all these things that we should be holding on to, or we're not pursuing the things that we should be pursuing because they're not what we want to do. But we look at Jesus and we think, we have to surrender to God. We have to make that step and say, "Father, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to let go of that thing. But not my will be done, but your will be done." And so I guess it's just my prayer, and that we would muster up that courage that Jesus has, that incredible courage and that trust and obedience to God that's just, that would inspire us to also set aside the things that we might want to pursue the will of God. That's my prayer for us today. I hope you have a blessed Christmas, and I'll see you soon.